What's up with it, y'all? Polo Sports Talking Entertainment here again with another one. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not a member of the channel, and also hit them notifications so that you're able to get each and every one of my videos. Now, I really didn't get into this because I know that there were different feelings about this, but now that everything has settled down in terms of the fight that took place last night between Terrence Bud Crawford and Showtime Sean Porter. Uh, this needs to be really hashed out right now because if you look at how the way that the fight was going and uh, what what direction that it was supposedly kind of looked to be going, uh, a lot of people wouldn't have thought that Kenny Porter would have stopped the fight. And a lot of people felt like the way that Breland stopped the fight against with when it came to Deontay Wilder, they had kind of those same feelings like, well, let Sean Porter, go out on the shield and continue to let him fight, things of that nature. But see, when I was talking earlier, you see that's the thing about it is that when he retired, Sean Porter had already had in his mind that he was ready to retire. And a lot of people are on Kenny Porter's helmet right now. They're mad at him for stopping the fight and everything. Now, me myself personally, uh, do I think Kenny Porter was wrong for stopping the fight? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. He was wrong for stopping the fight. However, I can kind of understand why he kind of did it. Now, a lot of things, a lot of people, they are prisoners of the moment. You know what I'm saying? They what they do is they get in their emotions, they get crazy. Oh, why you stop the fight? Da 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 da, and all this other stuff. Not realizing that this is a sport where many things can happen, including death. You know what I'm saying? And death can happen in any sport. But see, a lot of people don't want to talk about that. They don't want to tackle that sort of thing. But real stuff like that does take place. And then also you have to look at the after after the fight, post career wise. And I think a lot of people, they get so tied into, okay, what's going on in the now. They don't think about what's about to take place and what's about to come 10 to 15 years from now. I don't think a lot of people realize that. Now, we can say what we want and we can sit here and we can go back and forth all day about whether or not Kenny Porter was wrong for stopping the fight. But do we truly know what was really going on behind the scenes? Because Sean Porter had already came out and said he didn't want to be anybody's gatekeeper. You know what I'm saying? And that's what many people looked at him as a gatekeeper, or that people look at. You have people in the comment section saying that he's a stepping stone and all this other stuff, which I find very disrespectful. Sean Porter is not any of that. He's lost a lot of close bouts. You know what I'm saying? And he's won some close bouts. Now I know a lot of people talk about the Ugas fight, and they say that Ugas should have won that fight or whatever, but nevertheless he still won. The man still won, so you have to give him his credit. Uh, but to get back to Kenny Porter, a lot of people are frowning on him and getting on him and everything, but I don't think he was doing it to be disrespectful or anything like that. Now, should he have done it in a matter? No, because the thing about it is that Sean Porter was still kind of amped. He was still hype even after being knocked down and everything. He was infuriated and stuff. I mentioned that earlier. I said even when he got knocked out or whatnot, he was still infuriated and everything, you know, and he wanted to give it a go. I think that people wanted to continue to see if Sean Porter could actually battle back, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I was shocked that he got laid out twice on the canvas. And I want to let y'all know too. I made a mistake yesterday. I think I had said the ninth round, but I meant to say the the 10th round or whatnot. It was just that I had Porter up 7-2. So I want to apologize to all of my subs out there for making that mistake. Kenny Porter, man, is a guy that I respect. I respect him as a trainer, and I know what he brings, to the table. But a lot of people are disappointed in him right now. A lot of people were disappointed in Breland just as well as in the same fashion or whatever, not realizing that you could have possibly. I know a lot of people wanted Deontay Wilder to go out on the shield and stuff like that, but I looked at it from a perspective of I didn't want him to be walking around and not being able to have his motor skills, his cognitive ability, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about the neurological part of the human body, and I don't think people understand that. A lot of people don't understand either that when you play any type of sport, you don't initially feel a lot of that stuff, like when you're in football and stuff like that, and the constant hits and stuff like that, and the grind and stuff like that. Sometimes you don't feel that stuff, man, until a few years later, and then it's like, oh shoot, you know what I'm saying? Why is he slurring his words, or why is he doing this, or why is he doing that? Why does he walk like this? You know what I'm saying? Uh, I remember Shaquille O'Neal, and he was saying that he was giving an example of the constant injuries that you have to take, as an athlete. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the athletes that have had injuries, especially with their lower extremities, like the knees and the ankles and stuff like that, calves, shins, whatever, Achilles, you name it. A lot of them walk funny. And Shaq said, he was like, "Yeah, Chuck. Look, I walk funny. You walk funny. Kenny walks funny." And he was basically saying that a lot of the guys that play a sport for so long, they tend to walk a certain type of way, especially if you've had a lot of injuries and stuff like that. Well, you have to take into account a sport like boxing and a sport like football. Where it's constant pounding to to your head, your neurological, you know, and a lot of people don't really understand that. Like when you listen to some of these guys and they talk, they're gonna slur the words. They're gonna they a lot of the boxers, you can kind of tell a boxer or a fighter, especially a guy that's been repeatedly always hit or something. Now it doesn't happen to everybody because Sean Porter, from listening to him talk and from listening to him enunciate, and because he was commentating for quite some time, he seems to have all of his motor skills and him being able to talk and also carry on a conversation in a normal way. But for everybody, it's not like that. Everybody doesn't have possess that. A guy can get hit and break his jaw, and sometimes he'll never be able to recover from that. A guy can get hit in the temple, and he'll never be able. Some guys will never be able to recover from that. A guy can get punched in his ribs, in his rib cage. Some guys never ever recover from that, or they still have pain from when it originally happened. And see it, I think that Kenny Porter was looking out for his son's best interest. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not caping for Kenny Porter at all, and I'm not trying to defend what he did. You know what I'm saying? But I understood why. You know what I'm saying? I like to analyze things before I automatically go in on a person. That's just like when I'm trying to think of a perfect example that kind of ties within this. Uh, I can understand why some players in the NBA they'll sit out for a significant amount of time. You know what I'm saying? It's because why go out there and you're going through an 82 game season, and to make matters worse, you go out there and then you injure something else. Like you look at Clay Thompson that's getting ready to come back, and I'm finna talk about him in a little bit, right? You look at a guy like Clay Thompson. He was already ready to come back. You know what I'm saying? And then when he came back, guess what ended up happening? When he came back from the Achilles, then guess what? Then his knee. Then he had his knee. So then now he got to sit out. He had to sit out even more time. You understand what I'm saying? And so why take that type of risk, or to your body and everything? Well, we're talking about not only your career and the end of your career, but we're talking about what happens post whatever sport that you play. These guys they still have to go out and function like normal people. And to be honest with you, it's very embarrassing for you to go somewhere and you try to carry on a conversation with the individual, like just a regular civilian that has never played a sport. They've never felt the impact of a hit. They've never fell on the ground. They've never had an injury. They haven't. On top of that, they haven't been in the daily grind, the daily grit and grind, and the rigors of a sport of what you've had to do. You know, and while you might be well off in terms of money and in terms of you know your financial and everything, people are going to conversate with you, and they're not going to see you as you being great in terms of your well-being. They're going to say, okay, well, what's wrong with this guy? Why is this guy talking like this? Why doesn't he respond that quickly to me? Why does it look like he can barely, he could barely function properly or something like that. And that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. But see, people don't understand that, the longer you're doing the sport and, the longer you're getting hit constantly, you getting hit in the head. And, it's not like this guy is fighting, you know, 13 or 14-year-olds or anything. Like, nah, man, he's in there with some grown men and he's in there with some lions. He's in there with some people that are pretty much gonna give you a pounding, regardless of what you want to say. It's easy for us to sit here and be on the outside looking in, or outside of the box, outside of the ring, and talk all this trash and stuff and say that these guys ain't doing this or they not doing that. Look, as much as I don't really have Amir Khan up there or anything like that. But the thing about it is that, you know, Amir Khan, as much as he's, took some L's and everything, right? There's very few people that will be able to do what he's done, which is to step in the ring and actually lose to a lot of the savages that he's fought. So when I hear people like in the comment section saying, "Yeah, this guy's fighting nobodies and all this other stuff," well, you go step in the ring and find out. Listen, you go step in the ring with somebody like just the average Joe. He probably like only won one fight and probably done lost like 7 fights or something. He'll end up beating your ass, and that right there, it'll let you know, okay, it'll make you think different. It's the same thing with when you play basketball, when you play football or something like that. You be like, oh man, these guys are trash. This guy sucks. This guy, he can't do this or he can't do that. Oh, he runs slow and all this other stuff. But you go face him up, or you try to line up with him, or you try to jump with him or something like that. They are pretty much a whole body ahead of you, not just head and shoulders. So we have to get out of our feelings and stop being a prisoner of the moment when Kenny Porter, has stopped the fight and everything. And then also, this is another thing too. Okay, I know a lot of people. I wanted to tackle on this too. Okay, a lot of y'all wanted Porter to lose because of the whole Deontay Wilder disrespect and everything. Okay, look, there's a lot of all of that stuff that was being said about Deontay Wilder. Man, that stuff goes on in behind the scenes in boxing all the time. And Sean Porter was not the only one that was talking and saying what he said about Deontay Wilder. You know what I'm saying? Sean Deontay Wilder was not the only one that was being talked about neither. I mean, you see it happening to Canelo, and Canelo's on top of his game, and Canelo still won. And guess what? There's still people talking trash about Canelo. They're still saying that he's not successful. You know, they're still saying that. So you know, all of y'all that are coming in and y'all are cheering because y'all in your feelings because you don't like the way that what Porter said about Deontay Wilder. That's just you just being fully biased and not really paying attention to the actual fight. You and your feelings because you don't truly like a person, but you can't be objective. You have to be subjective. And me, I don't like what he said about I don't like what he said about Deontay Wilder neither. I didn't like any of the disrespect toward him. But I'm not gonna sit here and act like okay, Sean Porter didn't have a chance. But y'all use that as rage. Nobody can slice anything down the middle anymore, unfortunately. Me, I can do that. And a lot of people will hate you because of that. A lot of people won't come, to certain channels because, oh yeah, well, you know what? He likes him. You know what? I'm gonna leave you alone. Hey, that's on you. That's how you feel. You know what I'm saying? I can't do anything about that, but I'm not gonna sit here and, just automatically jump on the bandwagon and say, oh yeah, you know what? I hate Porter too. You know what? Because he said this about water and everything like that. Look, he's a man just like everybody else. You know, he a man just like everybody else. Everybody got their own opinion of everybody, man. Everybody's not built the same, unfortunately. But besides that, man, Kenny Porter, like I said, man, I would have loved to see him, continue to fight, but that was his decision. They was already, so to speak, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. They already had their plans to retire. At least Sean Porter did, and maybe he'll change his mind. We'll have to see if Sean Porter changes his mind. If he'll be like, you know what, let me just go ahead and rethink this over and get back in there. I would like him to get back in there, but hey, he feels the way he feel right now. Maybe he just needs to take some time or whatever, regather himself, and he'll change his decision. But besides that, leave your comments, like this video, share it, subscribe, and hit the notifications. It's Polo Sports Talk and ENT, man. I get at y'all later.